right, so we are piling along. Today we're about to go through economic growth and black political representation. So we definitely are getting more in the 20th century. Is everybody clear there? We definitely got that part. Um, we're going to mainly focus, as always, on source analysis, applying knowledge. But before we get too deep, let me give y'all a essential question. I thought I wrote it down in here, but I did. You're gonna. I don't want you to mess up your notes. I appreciate you. You could go get the popsicle stick. Though. Thank you. So let me just go back. Huh? Oh, they right there. Sorry. You actually had closer. All right. So. Okay, man. Be safe, bro. And you drop the sticks. I'm about to say, yeah, whoever you drop, that's the person you probably should call first. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to go through this big drive to find the EQ. All right. Here's your essential question. You can write down. How has how has economic growth influenced black political, excuse me, representation in the United States and what challenges and opportunities have emerged as a result. And as you always know, it's always here on the board, so you can always go back and get it. So the EQ for today is how has economic growth influenced black political representation in the United States and what challenges and opportunities have emerged as a result? So that's where we are. That's why how you said all that stuff to her and about her. Now you want to ask for some paper. It's still wild. Okay. All right. So for this is 414. I think I missed the I did. This is 414, right? Or 415. So I did it right. Okay, 415. Yeah, we took the quiz on 414. So my bad. All right. The learning objective is explain how economic growth in black communities has been hindered and promoted in the second half of the 20th century. Remember, the 20th century is going to be the 1900s. So we're now looking at basically post American civil rights movement and World War II. So, despite the growth of the black middle class, now middle class, you have what's considered wealthy and poor. The middle class is ideal. You right there in the middle. You can go either way. Does everybody got me on that? But anybody that's in the middle class fully understands. If I win the lottery, I'm gonna go real quick and be rich, right? If I miss one paycheck, I could be poor. So it's like you kind of like there in that middle, but you're feeling comfortable, and it makes you kind of have a sense of comfortability. But substantial disparities in the wealth along racial lines still remain. There's a certain amount, regardless of skin color, that owns most properties in wealthy United States, above based around 10%. That's not a lot of people when you look at the overall population of the United States, though. Is everybody still with me so far? So if only 10% of the population own the wealth, it's not going to really help. So when you look at things like Reaganomics and other tax plans that's been coming out during the 20th and 21st centuries, the idea that if you give the wealthy a tax break, it trickles down. That's not how wealthy people make money. They are wealthy because they know how to keep their money. Wealthy people are not walking around with $250 Jordans on. Wealthy people got on some Brooks and calling it a day with some jeans that they got from Walmart because they put their money more invested into stocks and bonds, not what they wearing on their feet. Is everybody follow me on that? That's typically how you can tell a quick difference because you can lose money really quick. I always tell people before you get you get your first any recording artist, any kind of athlete, your first deal ain't that money. It's trying to get to the second one. You get the least amount of money in your first one. The second one where you can start making some bank. So don't go spend all your money immediately. Put that money to a side, let it accumulate wealth. Go buy property. The one thing that America does not have enough of is land. Buy that up. Then you can start doing other things. Y'all with me so far? But this disparity is even someone teaching you that is sometimes the reason why you have these issues. So discrimination and racial disparities in housing and employment stemming from early 20th century limited black communities accumulated in generational wealth in the second half of the 20th century. Going back to what I just said again. Today I'm definitely gonna be reading the slides because I'm recording this lecture specifically for to help you guys out. But you gotta understand that not everybody can buy a house. There's certain banks that give more money to and not to certain people based off just your name. Is there I got me on that? It is a real thing that in a lot of black and brown households, they pick your names based on the specific idea that this name may be able to clear through different screenings that other names won't. Okay, it's a fact. It does happen. There's data that shows that. In 2016, the median, meaning like the average, was 17,150 compared to 171 for everyone else. That's a big gap. Now, be sure and understand, taking statistics, you got to be very, very, very understanding that it's all about the sample size. We're not sure where this sample size was taken for this data. We're not sure where the data came from. We're not sure what kind of people they asked, but it gives you at least kind of an idea. Does everybody got me on that? And the reason I say that is that myself, I find it hard to believe it was that big of a gap. It was a gap, but that's severe. Does everybody follow me on that? Because even in 2016, you can't survive off that. Is that right clear there? So that's again, was it severe? Yes, but that, brother, kind of wondered on that one. All right, now this is the data. I am not saying here that everybody should go to college. I'm not saying that. I think trade schools is a very, very viable option. Having a skill-based job is very, very viable. Okay. In U.S. history, one of my lessons is monopoly. The whole point of monopoly is making sure you understand the difference between having a job, having a skill-based job, and then being a person that actually owns the money. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with this. No, like the Monopoly game, like playing the game Monopoly. And if you ever play Monopoly, you never actually win that game. Okay. You just keep going and going and going. And that is modern day capitalism. It's will just keep going and going and going. So the segregation happened in 1950s with what Supreme Court case? Brown v. Board of Education. You have to make note. Brown v. Board of Education was actually two Supreme Court cases. 1954 and then 1955. We never learn or talk about the 1955 case. You know why? Because it's kind of like a mute point, but it's an important part because after 1954, they saw things was not changing. So 1955 came out and said, with all deliberate speed, we need to make this go faster. Is it right clear there? The Supreme Court can't force no one, but they're like, look, we did this for a reason. Let's make this work out even faster. But because of the segregation, you also had expanded education opportunities, meaning you wasn't solely forced to go to only HBCU if you want to go to college. You can go to Purdue University. You can go to Georgia Tech. You can go to other schools. The problem is, as we talked about when this time happened, the curriculums didn't change, though, did they? The requirements did not change. Does everybody follow? So by 2019, 20% roughly, 20% of African American adults had earned a bachelor's degree or higher degree. That's not a bad number, but that's still not very much, is it? That's not even half. Is that right clear there? And let's be very clear. I grew up in a community where going to college was not what you're supposed to do. The question is, how good of a street hustler are you going to be? Get a PhD in that. But I say this and I mean it to the day I die. So the smartest people I ever met in my life worked them corners. So the best mathematicians I ever knew in my life worked them corners. Since they had no one to actually say, look, you could go to college. Does everybody got me on that? And again, or at least go get a trade. Like, do y'all understand how much plumbers make? You know how much like a person to fix your AC, work at HVAC make? A good barber, do you know how much they can make? Those are skill-based jobs. Those are always jobs you should make sure you have. And then welding, like all those jobs, I forget what it's called, but like the person that makes the beer they call brewery, that is blowing up. And that is very, very technical. Y'all got me on that? Those are viable options. And I always say to every college student, get the degree, but have a backup plan. I went to barber school. So anytime I can always go back and start cutting hair. Literally when I was in college. I went to Compton College. Every summer I took classes and got my certification. So that's a viable option. Now, if you look here at the graph, you can see here as far as the gross and then the net, you can see who, as far as how much they're making based on what college degrees they got. Then you also can see now the difference between men and women. It's pretty sharp, isn't it? We just finished talking about intersectionality, right? It still goes into that. It is not even close, is it? It's sharp. I would definitely, if you're taking digital notes, I would take a screenshot of this and maybe have that because this is something you can use. Okay. What was I about to say? I always say this, and this has been my experience from going to school. So follow me on this. Associate degree, you got a job. Is everybody got me on that? I'm breaking down the degrees. Everybody follow? Because I feel like if you understand the degrees, you can understand how to obtain them. Bachelor's degree, you did some. Listen, everybody, listen. Bachelor's degree, you did something hard and didn't quit. Be very clear. Seniors, stand up. Give them a round of applause because they about to graduate. I'm gonna say you're not a senior. Give them a round of applause. They about to graduate. They getting out of here. Give them a round of applause because this is where you want to get to. You're a senior. Yeah, half the class is seniors. Now, pretty much all of them are going to some college or university. Is everybody got me on that? Your incoming class is going to be huge. Your graduating class ain't. It's not. It's just not going to happen. My graduating class, yes, your graduate. Look at even high school. Look at everybody you walked into the school with, and look how many's about to graduate. It's still lower, right? And you have a lot of different reasons, but what I'm saying is simply this: not everybody completes. That bachelor's degree is gonna be one of the harder things you're gonna do. Is everybody follow? A lot of employers they're gonna say you completed this, that's why I like you. I know that if I give you a hard task, you just completed this degree. Is everybody got me on that? Is everybody follow? Does the college make a difference? Yes, depending on the field you're trying to go to. The professors make a bigger difference. And then, did you finish it? Then you go to the idea of a master's degree. So not only did you complete something really hard, you can write a little bit. Because to graduate typically with a master's degree, you got to do some kind of writing. PhD, you crazy. You are totally insane. You did something really, really hard that less than 10% of the population is completed, and you can write pretty decently. Is there a follow me on that? That's if you look at the degrees that way, it seems a little bit more obtainable. And once someone told me that my junior year and my bachelor was like, okay, now I get what I can do. Is there a follow? Because I was my junior year, I had like a 2.3 GPA. I stayed in college. I stayed an extra years just to get my GPA up before I can go to grad school. I graduated. See, I was a double major because I'm letting everybody know it's math and science. I was a meteorology major, which is engineering. I got it up to a 2.85. Then I went ahead and double majored in black studies, which brought me up to 3.2. And I was happy with it because at least I was a double major and a science major, and I was a black man. So you did 4 plus 1. Got to do what? 4 plus 1, like 4 years ago. No, well, I did 4 plus 2. I stayed 6 years. I started in 2000. I graduated in 2006. But I also was a double major, which adds elements to it. Okay. And again, I'm gonna be honest. I also went into college with a 728 on my SATs. So it's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. My high school GPA was a 3.9. I was not a good tester. And I was that kid that I got bored in class because it was too easy for me. I'll never forget this, and this is me being honest. My first year, I took a biology class. Mr. Hodges, cool dude now, but I didn't like him back then. I was failing that class. My mom and dad was like, "What's going on? You never failed a class." I never kid you not. They had a meeting with the teacher. My dad said, "Give him a problem." I went on the board, finished the problem in 2 minutes. No problems at all. And the teacher was like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I'm bored with you, dude. This is not hard. I need more challenge." And from then forward, then I went from an F really in a month I had a B because then he started challenging, started making me. He started doing what we call differentiation. You know how sometimes even with y'all, I give y'all different options to do. That's what made me do better because I was bored with just doing the basic stuff. Is that right? Got me on that? But I said all that to say that I knew I wanted to make money, but and then here the other problem was all my homies and friends, they all in the corner making all this money. I'm in school. Why? Mainly because I'm scared of my mom and my dad. That's really my motivating factor to graduate and go to college with my mom and dad because I didn't want to disappoint them because my mom and dad was not able to do this. My dad, he could have went and played Major League Baseball, but he didn't because it was a different time period. My mom just worked. So that was my motivating factor. Otherwise, I'd probably been on the street too. It was easier that way. And I was good with math too. I knew numbers. But if you look at it, you understand why that also goes into this numbers too, doesn't it? Because those are the elements that's going on in many black and brown communities. On the average community, that's what's going on. It's not the kids that ain't smart. And then you can go this in any across the board for any races and creeds and genders. Ain't that kids are not smart? Are they being challenged and put in the right direction? Hence, AP African American Studies as well. Because some of y'all probably never took an AP class and probably would graduate without ever taking one. All right, diversity within now black communities. So, urbanization, it did definitely increase the idea of urbanization, meaning people moving into the cities. We still see that, right? And now keep this in mind, you also got urban sprawls, meaning look at us. We're in the Atlanta area, right? But we in Marietta, that's a sprawl. But this is still a big city, isn't it? We're not really that suburban. You follow me on that? We're like suburban urban. It's suburban because we're not in Atlanta, but it's still kind of urban because go about 15 minutes north, you start seeing what I'm talking about. Like go past Rosso and you start getting more country. Is that what got me on that? So that's suburban. We're still kind of suburban urban. I'm talking about how when I was a manager at Foot Locker, how we used to look at stores. This would be suburban urban because that's how he selected the music. I'm just giving y'all a heads up on that. Anyway, this also helped with the idea of growth for black businesses. Be clear that prior to Brown v. Board, you have a lot more black business. Remember we talked about with Tulsa, right? Tulsa Black Wall Street, right? But when you had integration come in, it kind of disappeared because then everybody's like, oh, we can do anything we want. And a lot of those businesses started to dwindle. They started to come back up more and more. So black-owned businesses like restaurants and publishing houses, they were established in the black community, particularly before Brown, but then they still had them around. And they took advantage of the discrimination. The idea that you had the Negro Leagues, for example, for baseball. I always use that because that's my background, my baseball. That was created because you had that. Now keep in mind, they called it Negro Leagues, but Latin players played there too. Any person of color. Does everybody follow me on that? Okay, we still good here? So these businesses allowed the growth of the communities. And again, you want to see an example of these businesses, what they could do? Look at Tulsa. Look at Chicago in the 1920s and 30s and stuff. So these are examples of that, okay? We still good so far? Any questions? Okay, very good. Now, I want us to take a second and just analyze this chart. We are going to do the see, think, wonder. Okay. All right. So this chart is a chart on the black middle class, where the black middle class lives, occupations, and ownerships. This is done by the Brookings Institute. This would be a variable option. So if anybody want to add this to the presentation, please by all means do so. Now, Jim Crow and redlining was a big thing. Everybody got me on that? Y'all had a whole DBQ on that, so I'm not going to go too deep into that. And also, but that helped with the shifting of growth for black families. Now, let's look at some of these. Make sure I make these bigger. So, see, think, wonder these. What do you see? Think about why it's occurring, and then wonder why it's occurring. Everybody got me on that? All right, let's look at this one first. You with me? Say yes? Okay. You're going to move in a minute, too. because I need y'all to get up and move around. All right. So on the far left, you got the black middle class share of overall population. So now what you can see here, these are your major centers of where you have the black population. Now, you can find this across for any race and nationality, but because it's AP African American Studies, I'm focusing solely on black folks, okay? Because again, that's that Afrocentric thought that we talked about the other day, right? A reminder, you need to use that article in your research. Is everybody clear there? Is everybody got me? 2 reasons. All y'all that's already stood up and saying you're taking the AP exam, that's going to set you off differently. Is everybody follow me on that? I bet you most students are not going to have that theory of Asante. You know why? Because they didn't have me. And all I did was study Asante. So using the Afrocentric theory is going to help your writing tremendously. Is everybody got me on that? Therefore, I want you to get used to how to use it in your research. Secondly, some of you need to have another credible source, right? So now you have that source, and I already gave you a citation for it as well, okay? So just give me that side note. Now, if you notice, we are right here in Atlanta, right? Are we one of the highest populations? No, we're not. Memphis is actually higher. Harrisburg, Mississippi is higher. Do I got me on that? Are we up there? Yes, but we're not the highest. Does that make sense? But people always say, oh, Atlanta got nothing but black folks. Yeah, we're pretty high, but, we ain't the highest, okay? Notice Los Angeles, though. Notice New York. Even Las Vegas, for that matter. A lot of people moving out of L.A. going to Vegas. Does everybody got me on that? They still have those steady numbers. Does everybody follow there? So as far as jobs, this is what people are looking at. Notice that it's empty pretty much all here in the middle of the country, though. Particularly around the Rocky Mountains, Utah, Idaho, Montana. You follow me on that? Now, you do understand there's still people of color live in these states, right? It's just that when they look at statistical data, or if they do, they participate in the census. When you get asked to participate in the census, this makes a difference. Does everybody follow? That's how you get this data. You can say 100 reasons why it can be bad. I'm not gonna say that they're not right, but that's how this data is compiled. They make the decisions like as far as how they're gonna build schools, where they're gonna build schools. All that data, it does make impacts. And after 2020, because everybody was sick and stuff, it made things worse. Now, while lower and middle class decreased, black upper class did also decrease as well. Now, notice it's here. So you got 2008. This will be the low blue, light blue. The dark blue is going to be 2017. You can see, so you got black lower class, middle class, and then look what happens to the upper class. This, just so you know, because I'm looking, because remember, my dissertation was stigmas associated with black male incarceration. One thing I did look at is incarceration rates compared to income. Right, got me on that? And I looked at not only for just blacks, but also was curious as far as Asians, Asian Americans, and then also Latinx. It's pretty very similar. So I got me on that? There's no real high echelon. It's mainly some kind of distribution between middle and low. If you factor just looking at women alone, it's very similar to this one as well. Everybody copy? So even though after the election of Andrew Jackson, you no longer had to own land to vote, meaning now all white men can vote, but it still is an issue as far as white men compared to everybody else as far as even pay. Okay? All right, y'all go ahead and rotate, get to another seat. We're almost done. Rotate, get to another seat. We are almost done. Now we got to talk about Miss Chisholm. My mom is not on the phone. My mom loves me.
Unless he's strictly, you're like the West Coast guy? The West Coast song? I don't like West Coast music.
All right, let's keep it going and finishing this up. All right. Describe major advances in black federal political leadership in the late 20th and 21st centuries. Sidebars. Everybody hear me say yes? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, 16, 17, 18. 4 more people missing. I challenge each and every one of you. Everybody got me on that? Pick one person that we have discussed in this class. Pick one person that we have discussed in this class. Okay? I might even go as far as going through the CED and checking and just start assigning people. I don't really want to, but just one person we're discussing in class. Be prepared to do like a 30-second, who is this person and why are they relevant to U.S. history? U.S. history. Because you know what? It'd be make sense for us to make sure Black History Month is pretty good. Let's do something different. Everybody got me on that? So I would want to have these quick little 30 seconds. Again, make it 30 seconds. You can record yourself. Make it be something cool. As I say this out loud, this was not planned. This is going to be an assignment. On Monday, I'll assign everybody a person or two. Okay. And these are people you've already researched, people already talked about. So you ain't gotta go do nothing but look at your notes. So like I said, Shirley Chisholm might be one of them. And when we get back in February, what y'all can produce is what I'll have them put on Wildcat TV. Does that make sense? So we're gonna do the facts because we want to make sure that people know that everybody ain't Martin Luther King Jr. Everybody not Rosa Parks. We've been learning about a lot of people, haven't we? Like Mansa Musa is one person that people need to know about. Will we agree? Richest man in the world. So I'll let y'all know more about it. And you know what? You be able to pick. It's just that you're gonna have to sign up for them, okay? So y'all just have to sign up for it. And I'm not gonna pick for you. You sign up for it, then you do your people. The more people you do, higher can help your grade. This is a full extra credit opportunity. But let me tell you this: if you do it lazily, you ain't getting nothing. I'm gonna say thank you for your efforts, but your efforts did not come out to where we need it. Okay? It ain't business, it's just business. It ain't personal. Okay? So I'll get that to y'all Monday. Everybody clear? I get that to you Monday. You can sign up for it, and then you make your little 30-second skit video, whatever you're gonna do. Yeah. Rap. It could be a rap too. I love raps. Raps would be preferable. Well, no. I'm gonna give y'all a list of people, and then you get to select who you want to do.
We can do as many as we want to.
You can do anybody from the list that I create. The list is gonna be people that's from the class. Everybody got that? Yes. 30-second. Put it this way, y'all can do what y'all want to do again. So come on, it'll be 30 seconds or less. Rap, poem, whatever you want to do about who that person is to where they. Again, we're gonna try to use that for Broadcast TV, and for Black History Month. Okay, because again, we've been learning about a lot of different people, right? A lot of different events. Those are all things we can talk about. Okay, got it? Okay, I had that for you Monday. That just popped in my head because we're now talking about Shirley Chisholm. She became the first Black woman in Congress. In what year? 1968. 1968 was a transformative year. Bless you. In 1971, she helped actually but found the Congressional Black Caucus that is still relevant to this day. Okay. Still with me? Okay. Yeah. She really helped the growth of the idea. Now, you have Black members of Congress and Senate, for that matter, dating back as early as Reconstruction. But she was the first Black woman in Congress. And keep this in mind, 1968, that's a long time, right? 1785, 1968, first Black woman. Heads up, it ain't been that many since her either. This incoming Congress in 2025, I'm pretty sure I know about at least 2 or 3 that's going in. And that's going to be some of the highest numbers. I'm talking about looking at both Senate and House. I know at least 2 or 3 are going in, but it ain't been that many. Okay? In proportion to what everybody else is in there. Any questions here? No? Okay. There should be a video coming up now that will be discussing her. It is. So you're going to have 4 questions to answer. So just listen up. All right. What do you already know about Shirley Chisholm? A lot, a little, or nothing. Those are your options, okay? And a lot, a little, or nothing. You about to find out. So a lot, a little, or nothing. A lot, a little, or nada. All right, let's go. Oh, my bad. All right. So your question here is: in 1968, Chisholm became the first African American woman to what? Don't say it out loud. Just put your answer in. Give you a couple seconds because this you should just be able to get it fairly quick. Yeah. No, she was not the first woman. She's the first black woman. Go ahead. Huh? No. That was 1971, 72. Yeah, she was the first to also run for president. All right. So the correct answer is what now again here? Serve Congress. All right. Which of these is true of Chisholm? Which of these is true? All right, we got that. Thank you. All right. So, what did this video make you curious to learn more about when it comes to her or others? So, don't give me, be a really long response, maybe just a sentence or two. But go and give me your thoughts, please. Yeah. Was it Shirley? I don't think it was Shirley. Yeah, it was Keisha. I didn't think it was no Chisholm. That was Keisha Bottoms. No, I mean yeah, but Shirley, not Chisholm. Shirley was in 2002 to 2010. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's keep moving. All right. So as the video just kind of alluded to, she Shirley did influence a lot of others as far as getting into the role of politics. It's always important to see someone that you can say, "Oh, I can maybe relate to in some kind of way." So first, you have Colin Powell. So think about what we gonna tell you. I'm gonna give y'all on Monday about learning about different people doing different assignments as we do various things. Colin Powell, he became the first black Secretary of State. The Secretary of State is the individual that basically is foreign relations master for the United States, for lack of a better phrase. They're the ones that communicate and talk to other people around the world. Serving under George W. Bush. He also founded the American Promise Alliance. That was a partnership of different nonprofits that created opportunities for American youth. He was also the first black chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff. That was from 1989 through 1993. He was then succeeded by Condoleezza Rice, who then became the first black woman to hold a position of Secretary of State as well. So during that presidency, the Secretary of State was held by individuals of Black American or African American ancestry. That's both Colin Powell and Condoleezza Rice. Hmm? I don't know. Okay. And again, I'm recording this so y'all can go back and watch and review. Only thing that may not work very well is going to be the video, but it also had like the um, captions on, and you can just find it on YouTube. Okay. All right. So now this is a required source for you. If everybody's with me, say yes. Okay. I'm gonna actually show you in the CED. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to also show you this how you can study. Wait for this PDF to come up, and I'm gonna show y'all something. Why y'all charging phones and stuff over here? It's pretty early in the morning. All right. So this is the CED. The CED is what I base every discussion, lecture, test everything on. Is everybody follow me on that? This is in CTLS for you, particularly for those people that are not going to be coming to tutorials. You need to really understand what I'm about to tell you. All right, so we're currently in 4.15, right? Yes. So these are all the required sources that you need to know about. So the one I'm about to show you right now is the commencement address from General Colin Powell at Howard University. Now the link is already in Blackboard, but here is the transcript. Does that make sense, everybody? You follow? Now, by having the reason I'm showing these to you is because first off, you got to know there's been a lot of sources in this class, right? I have no idea what source is going to be on the test. They could come up both as multiple choice. Remember how I gave you like the stimulus question in the quiz, right? It was like this a sentence from a source. It can be used as a DBQ. You don't know, but you need to make sure you're aware of them. Does that make sense, everybody? Everybody clear there? Okay, so this is how you can find them. And then if you keep scrolling down, you can find more information. So I want to show this to you again, just so you know how to read this too. Try to go to 415. Yeah, but on the screen I can't. Now, well, I really hope I think the update's supposed to give me like a screen where I can actually type here on the screen. Oh, that'd be so nice for me. So make it actually. No, we don't have that option. Huh? Who? That means maybe I need to go talk to that person. Okay, yeah. Me and her been trying to get together, but she's about as busy as I am. Okay, interlocking, we just did that. 415. So this is where we are right now, right? Does this all look familiar to you? All I did was just basically take notes of it. Everybody got me on that? So this is literally when you don't have access to a Nearpod, just go here. It's the same material. Does that make sense to everyone? All right, let's go back to our Nearpod. All right, so here is his speech. All you need to do is listening. She made some comments about Howard University and speaking there. I guess it just played over again. I'm not sure. Okay, that was now. This I honestly forgot. I think this is the funeral procession for him. Yeah. Now he was the son of Jamaican immigrants to the United States. He was born and raised in Harlem, New York. All right, so the early 20th century also saw her historical presidents in black executive branch, meaning you had the election of Barack Obama in 2008, and then you had Kamala Harris serve as the vice president in 2020, and then in this is 2024. In 2024, she stepped in and ran for president. Now, these are all the first Black Americans to hold these positions. So you have here the portrait. So after you leave the office, you always have an official portrait that goes up in the White House. These are the portraits of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. And then you have here Kamala Harris, who is the vice president to Joe Biden. Does everybody follow me that? So these two portraits are in the White House. I don't know where, but I also know there's I believe copies are versions of them also in the museum in Washington D.C. The Portrait Museum. Thank you. So they are also there as well. Yeah. I guess you want to say. Just say, dude. Don't waste your time.
You know how like every other president photo, it's like this black and white headshot was born, and then for Barack Obama's, I forgot the artist's name, but he did a background. I had to write an essay about being in the White House, but that's
Yeah, and actually, I think at Clark Atlanta University they got a really good art studio. It might be a version of that here. They give some more background similar to what you're saying.
The High Museum of Art,
That's another one. Yeah.
Alicia Keys has the same artist has a huge portrait of her, the same artist.
They did a whole thing about that over at the High Museum a couple weeks ago, I think, too.
The whole,
Him and Swiss Beats. Her.
their whole, they have a Basquiat out there.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think they opened it or something was open going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, are there any questions? Any questions? Any hurt feelings? I'm gonna put everything in CTLS for y'all shortly. All right. So what I need y'all to do is go ahead and close out your notes. Hold on one second.